Somewhere in your brainstorming and researching, you need to choose a business name type that you want to apply to your business. Here are a couple of them that you can apply to your business today. Hi there, in this video I'm going to explain the various brand naming types that you can choose from. Let's jump right into it. Starting off on the list is abbreviations and acronyms. Now this is a very unique way and also a very creative way of coming up with business names. It's quite tricky when doing it, but when done right, it sounds awesome. Fun fact, IKEA, which we all know is, the spelling of it is IKEA. Now the name IKEA was derived from the founder's name plus the village and the farm he grew up in. So the I and the K stands for his name, which is Igvar Kampa, that's his name. And now the village that he grew up in and the farm that he grew up in combined the latter half of the name, which is the E and A. The E stands for entered and the A stands for Agumared. That joins together to be the IKEA name. So coming up with a name like this is quite stressful, but when done right, it's quite creative and comes up with a unique name for your business. So do try out coming up with combinations of the business name and then maybe the product you offer or something like just play around it and see what you can come up with. A couple of examples are displayed on the screen as well. The other brand naming style or naming type that you can go in for is your personal name. Now this is quite a daunting one of a task to be compared to the other various naming styles. Reason being that once you choose this name, you have to be the face of the company for a while before you face off the company and then let the company stand on its own. But starting off, you need to be the face of the company constantly to help the company establish around you before it expands. So it's quite also a good way to name your business, but just be careful and look at the case study scenarios before you start applying it. A couple of examples for this kind of scenario is the Air Jordan, which stands for Michael Jordan, and then you have the Adidas, which stands for Adidesla. And a couple of them displayed on the screen right now, as you can see. So this is also a good way to come up with a business name, but just be creative around it so you don't end up being in a fix once you start roaming around with it. Another brand naming style you can go in for is, we term it to be the matter of fact. Now this is quite just name on the go. In a way, let me just put it that way for understanding's sake. We call it name on the go because you pick the service you're offering and then build a brand around it or build a name around it. So let's say you sell shoes, it's going to be let's say you shoes or my shoes, that to be the name of the company. So it's quite a good way to name your brand that way also, but just be sure of what you're doing before you start picking up that particular style name. A couple of examples are Pizza Hut. Immediately hear it, you know they sell pizza over there. Dunkin' Donuts is also an example that you can go in with. Once you hear it, you know exactly what they are doing. So it's also a unique way of naming your brand, but just be careful and then measure it before you start going in for such names, because the cons to it is that it's going to be limiting you in a way as to the business that you'll be running. So once you're going for such names, make sure it really applies to the business and you know how your business is structured before you go in for such names. Another naming method is the compound naming style, which in this scenario you come up with two words, put them together to form one name, which is also quite a unique and creative strategy to use when you're naming your brand. So you can apply it. A typical example of this is Airbnb, let's say Coinbase. There are a couple of them out there, as you can see on the screen as well. So do well to play around it, just play around all of them and see which one really works best for you and which one you can easily come up with for your business as well. Another typical example of brand naming style is the made up words. Now this one is quite tricky to do, but it's quite fun as well. So we make you think of brand names in a way such that we make up big imaginations of the name. So a typical example is Skype, ST, a couple of them as displayed on the screen. So when you look through, the names doesn't really make sense, but in a way it makes sense as well. So yeah, coming up with such names is quite stressful though, but it's quite a creative way to come up with a business name. So when you're trying out your business names, you could play around something like this and see what you can come up with. Typical examples are what are displayed on the screen right now. You can go through them or take screenshots to guide you as to when you are doing yours as well. By the way, if you're enjoying this content, I'm Edwin Dela. On this channel, I share content on business, branding, productivity, and growth mindset to help you grow and help your business expand. Do well to subscribe and share this video with a friend. Let's grow together as well. Cheers. And to the most unique, creative, and stressful one is the misspelled words. Now, this is It's quite one of my favorite styles to use when I'm building brands. Although it's really requires a lot of creativity to do. Here's the scenario where you pick up words and misspell them or take out certain vowels in there to create a unique word, which also at the same time sends out the message of exactly what you are trying to put out there. So a typical example would be lift. You can take out, you've seen we've taken out some part of the word to come up with a unique name which conveys the same message as you want to convey in the messaging. So this is also a quite stressful but unique way to name your business that I'll recommend that if you can, do go in for it and then practice it on your business and see how it turns out to be. Once it's good, you can go in for it. If not, try something else. There are other examples that you can choose out from. So there you have it, 6 various brand naming styles that you can apply to your business today to come up with creative names for your business to make your business stand out. Do share in the comment section which one you've applied so far, which one you're using so far, and how it has helped your business. See you in the next one. Cheers.